really looks at how close we really are to its fulfillment. See, Psalm 83 is sort of the nexus, for lack of a better word. It's like that linchpin, and present a fulfillment of Psalm 83, you create this momentum. It's almost that proverbial dominoes effect, even now as we see in Egypt, because the fear amongst those who are watching very carefully, especially those in Israel, it is believed that now Egypt will be the beginning of now Jordan following, Saudi Arabia. Tomorrow they are planning protests in Iran again. This has really created a dynamic now in the Middle East, and I really see that it does have the makings to be Psalm 83. You can also go to his website, israelstein.net. He has up-to-date articles on Psalm 83, and especially related to the situation in Egypt. I agree with him mostly. There's a couple of points, not major points, but because I'm an Arab, because my dad was an Egyptian and my mom a so-called Palestinian, actually Jordanian, or more probably an Edomite, as we'll see here in a little bit. I tend to maybe hyper-scrutinize Americans writing on the Middle East from a Western perspective. I mean, these are well-learned men, but there are some things that, unless you understand the culture in the Middle East, you can't really, in all fairness to them, you just cannot really understand, in terms of what's really going on over there. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I don't claim to, be in the know or, have the corner on the Middle East, but growing up in an Arab home and hearing my dad talk about Egypt, hearing him talk about the Middle East, it sort of filled in some blanks for me, especially as I came to the Lord later in life and have been walking with Jesus Christ for so many years. And now I see what's happening in my homeland, and I see what's happening with my people. I got to confess to you that as I'm watching this situation in Egypt, those people are, they look like me. Poor people. But no, they are my people. They look like Hosni Mubarak looks like my dad. If I were to put a picture of my dad up on the screen, you would think that it was a different picture, that one you haven't seen, of Hosni Mubarak. These are, and I have family in Egypt. I have an aunt in Giza, and my wife and I stayed with her when we went to Egypt in 1997, and I have aunts and uncles there and family there. So this is kind of, close to home, and I think maybe in part this is why I'm devoting our time today to look at this situation in Egypt and how it relates to Bible prophecy. Well, let's get into Psalm 83. Beginning in verse 1, a psalm of Asaph. O God, do not keep silent. Be not quiet, O God, be not still. See how your enemies are astir, how your foes rear their heads. With cunning they conspire against your people. They plot against those you cherish. Come, they say, let us destroy them as a nation, that the name of Israel be remembered no more. With one mind they plot together. They form an alliance against you. The tents of Edom, verse 6, and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagrites, Gibal, Ammon, and Amalek, Philistia, with the people of Tyre. Even Assyria, verse 8, has joined them to lend strength to the descendants of Lot, Selah. Do to them, verse 9, as you did to Midian, as you did to Sisera and Yabin at the river Kishon, who perished at Endor and became like refuse on the ground. Make their nobles like Arab and Zeb, all their princes like Zebbah and Zalmunna, who said, "Let us take possession of the pasture lands of God. Make them like tumbleweed, O my God, like chaff before the wind. As fire consumes the forest, or a flame sets the mountains ablaze. So pursue them with your tempest and terrify them with your storm. Cover their faces with shame so that men will seek your name, O Lord. May they ever be ashamed and dismayed. May they perish in disgrace. Let them know that you, whose name is the Lord, that you alone are the Most High over all the earth." What a powerful and prophetic and poignant psalm. I'm going to use Google Earth, and I'm going to, in so doing, attempt to identify the nationalities of those that are listed here in this psalm, specifically in verses 6 through 8. Now, I think it's incumbent on me to preface this by saying that as an Arab, there is a tremendous amount of confusion about who's who in the Middle East. So I kind of want to give you a thumbnail sketch here and preface this before we get into this with an illustration as to the who's who in the Middle East. You have to understand that we do err when we make synonymous Arab with Muslim. The truth of the matter is that the largest Muslim population is found in Indonesia. Alex and Lily are from Indonesia. It is a Muslim country, and it is the largest populated Muslim country in the world, and it's not Arab. Also, Iran. We mistakenly assume that the Iranians are Arabs. They are Muslims, but they are not Arabs. Iran is a Muslim nation, but they are Persians. They speak not Arabic, they speak Farsi. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is a Persian, not an Arab, but they are Muslims. Now, when you get into Egypt, you might be surprised to know that really Egyptians are not technically Arabs. They are Egyptians. They are the ancient Egyptian race. So when you say Arab, you are really encompassing a large segment of the world's population who have over the generations become a melting pot of different people groups. Now it's important to say that because as we get into these people groups that are mentioned here in Psalm 83, there are distinctions that are made between many of these, what we would call today, Arab people groups. Now, my father was an Egyptian. My mother was born in Jordan. However, after 1948, my grandmother moved from Nazareth in Israel after statehood in Israel. And a lot of the Arabs did, they left Israel after 1948 and moved to Jordan. And so today, really, I guess you could say, theoretically, the Palestinians do have a state. It's called Jordan. You want a Palestinian state? Go to Jordan, my goodness. That's where all of them are. And by the way, Jordan, as we'll see here momentarily, is mentioned here in Psalm 83 in a couple of places. Now, I want us to try to, as we look at Psalm 83 here more closely, I want us to try to clear up some of the confusion as it relates to the Middle East, particularly in the last days. Now, Asaph lists 10 people groups in 3 verses, verses 6 through 8. And again, the